We turn now to our national security correspondent, David Martin. David, good to have you back here. I know you've been looking into these alleged war crimes. I can think of at least one current and one former world leader still living, war crimes charges against him, unlikely to ever face trial. I imagine same story for Vladimir Putin.
Well, that's probably the most likely scenario. But I talked to the State Department official who's in charge of assembling all this evidence, and she says that because Putin is so clearly all-powerful in Moscow, it's relatively easy to make a war crimes case against him. You don't have to come up with some smoking gun order, I, Vladimir Putin, direct you to kill civilians. All you have to do is show that he knew what was happening and did nothing to stop him. So she flatly predicted that he will be indicted as a war criminal. Taking him into custody is obviously another problem, but if an arrest warrant is issued for him, he becomes an international fugitive and he cannot travel to any country that recognizes the validity of that arrest warrant. So at the very least, he could be confined to Russia for the rest of his life.
Recognizes the validity. Key phrase there,
well,
David. Yeah. I want to ask you, though, about what we just heard from Jake Sullivan, the president's national security advisor. He talked about that 2-hour phone call with Chairman Milley, laying out more equipment and training for Ukrainian forces. What do they need to actually win the fight?
Well, the training he's talking about, at least that I know of, is on these switchblade loitering drones that they are now sending by the hundreds, and on another drone called the Puma. Those are relatively quick training courses, 2 days, and you can learn how to operate it. If you're talking about an M1 Abrams tank, that's just not a quick fix to what they are facing now. You said win. Win is a big word. If win means force the Russians to retreat and surrender, that's probably not going to happen, and it's probably not a good idea. Vladimir Putin made a colossal blunder, but he's still got thousands of nuclear weapons, and you don't want to put him in a corner and order him to come out with his hands up for fear that he will become desperate enough to resort in some way to some limited use of nuclear weapons.
So you fight to a stalemate to get to the negotiating table?
Well, it's more than just a stalemate, because this battle that's shaping up in the east, what the Russian army is essentially trying to do is cut off the Ukrainian army and then kill it. And if it can do that, then the rest of the country is open. Now, I think Vladimir Putin learned the hard way that he does not have enough troops to occupy the entire country. But the further he can advance, the stronger his hand at whatever negotiating table he ends up at.
David Martin, thank you, as always, for your reporting and analysis. And Face the Nation will be back in just a minute, so stay with us.